Tonight's Daily Difference, crime and punishment. The new mob war on the streets of New York. Bullets are flying and the body count is rising fast. What's at stake is control of one of this country's top crime families.
Oh, I got a message from Michael Franzese's lawyer.
Yes.
He DM'd me on my Instagram. Hi, Joe. I represent Michael Franzese, and we'd like to discuss possibly having you on his podcast. Let me know if there's any interest on your end. Thank you for your time and consideration. Never. I don't entertain lying rats. That's my answer. I never entertain lying rats.
Well, it's come to my attention today that a young man by the name of Justin sent a direct message, I believe, to Joey Merlino, and Joey took it upon himself to read it during his podcast recently. I think it was in the last day or so. And basically what this young man said was that he was my attorney and that, he thought it would be nice if Joey and I were to get together and he would come on my podcast for an interview. He thought he was doing a nice thing. He's not my attorney. Joey, for some reason, read this, thought it was appropriate to read this, and said that he was my attorney representing me, and in there he said that it would be nice if he came onto my platform. Obviously, this young man was mistaken because he thought he was sending this to somebody with class. Obviously, that's not the case. Now, Joey took it upon himself to call me a rat, which is okay. I've heard all of that. I've explained there's nothing more to talk about that. Call me whatever you want in that regard. But then he went on to talk about my father.
My response, he's a lying motherfucker. He knows he's a rat. His whole family knew he was a rat, including his father.
Wow.
I didn't hear back from him. That was 9 o'clock at night. This morning, the lawyer texted back and said his father was a stand-up guy. He did 50 straight years. Friends of mine knew him.
Yeah.
I said, yes, you're right. His father did 50 years, but he still condoned what his son did. He knew his son was a rat. He used to make him visit him, and he picked him up from jail when he got out on his last bid. And he put his bail up for him and sent him commissary. So in my opinion, if you condone your son being a rat, you're just as bad as him. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's the truth.
What he said about my father is this. He said, for Sonny Franzese to associate with his son, because he said that I paid my father's bail, I picked him up when he came out of prison, that my father, Sonny Franzese, must be a rat also. Now let me tell you this, Mr. Molino, you couldn't shine my father's shoes on his worst day. My father was one of the most stand-up guys ever in that life, and everybody knows it, even every one of your associates, and you know it also. So what you said was so totally out of line. And you know what? You would never in a million years say that to my father's face. Of course we know that. I don't think you'd say it to my face. And if you want to, just let me know. I'm here, not going anywhere. Okay, but to call my father a rat, my father associated with me because maybe he knows more about my situation than you do. Maybe the Colombo brass, the people that mattered, know a little bit more about what I did or what I didn't do than you do. But you feel it appropriate just to shoot your mouth off and call people names. Like what you say about me, I could care less. You don't mean anything to me. But what you said about my father, who are you kidding? My father, again, was the most stand-up guy in that life. Took 50 years on the chin and never opened his mouth about anything, and everybody knows that. So who are you to say something like that? Really?
He knew his son was a fucking rat, and he fucking talked. His son put Nobby Walters away. The guy, the sports agent.
Yeah.
His answer is, well, he never went to jail. Well, he's not the judge. You testified against the guy. And he testified against your father's driver, I think it was, the guy out of Chicago. You're a rat. You know you're a fucking rat.
And let me tell you something. If my father had something to say to you, he wouldn't be saying it to a bunch of people on social media. He would say it directly to your face, as I would. Absolutely. So I don't know where you're coming from. And let me ask you this. If you still are involved, and I have no idea, nor do I care, What are you doing on social media? You wouldn't see my father on social media. You wouldn't see me on social media if I was still part of that life. What are you doing on social media? Answer me that.
Like same thing with Sammy the Bull. Listen, do me a favor, all you rap motherfuckers. Do not invite me on your show. Don't even, you're insulting me. I wouldn't pee on you if you were on fire.
Don't flatter yourself, my friend. I don't need you on social media. Maybe you haven't been paying attention to what's going on. I don't need you. I wished you luck when you came on board. I didn't realize you were a classless guy. I thought you were a guy with class.
Leave my name out of your mouth and go about your own fucking business. Fuck yous all. I'm done with yous.
And that's that.
That's that.
So let me just leave you with this, Joey. I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, okay? I'm not impressed with you. I'm not interested in your talk. But let me tell you something. Before you make remarks about my father, know what you're talking about. Really. Because if you're still on the street, there's going to be people that are pretty much offended by that. Nobody can say a disparaging word about my father as far as him being a stand-up guy. I'm going to leave it at that. So you do what you want with this, Joey. Do whatever you want. You know what? I don't like to make, and I don't try to make enemies, and I'm not going to consider you my enemy. You can consider me whatever you want. But I'm going to answer to this the first time I ever responded to anything like this, because you don't go off and say things about my father that are absolutely untrue. And once again, I'll say it and I'll leave you with this. You couldn't shine my father's shoes on his worst day.